Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Connecticut Latino News Opinion Plus, a monthly series airing every Friday. This is a space for our opinions where we talk about current events and questions that Latino community is curious about. Today, we are joined by Earl Randall, Director of Programs and Small Business Lending at Capital for Change. Welcome, Earl. Thank you for joining us this week.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I was hoping, first off, if you could share a bit about Capital for Change's mission and its work across Connecticut.
Certainly. Capital for Change formally or officially has been in existence for approximately 6 years or so. However, it is the culmination or combination of three predecessor organizations, one in Bridgeport, one in New Haven, and one in Hartford. The general mission, if you will, of Capital for Change, and I'll read it because it's very applicable, to provide flexible, creative, and responsive financial products and services that support an inclusive and sustainable economy. Capital for Change works throughout Connecticut in a variety of areas that I'm sure that we will discuss, but the principal emphasis is on providing financial products, but we also provide a variety of services that we can talk about as we proceed with the conversation.
Sounds good. I was hoping you could tell us specifically more about your work in the Program and Small Business Department.
Okay, so Capital for Change in actually 2022 decided to re enter in a very effective way, efficient way, the small business arena. We had previously participated in small business programs. However, that ended effectively with the merger. We just periodically we would do a small business deal. However, effective 2022, I would say August of 2022, Capital for Change officially became a lender under the Connecticut Boost program. The Connecticut Boost program is a partnership, if you will, between the Department of Economic and Community Development, NDC, National Development Council, the Calvert Foundation. This program is specifically geared to provide low interest financing to businesses and with the emphasis on small businesses throughout Connecticut. The general gist is to provide funding to businesses, quite frankly, that have not had the opportunity to take advantage of some of the federal programs like the PPP and the like. So it represents a tremendous program to provide capital, low interest capital, mind you, relative to the current interest rates, to many small and community businesses.
Thank you for that. That was really in depth. So that led to my next question, really. So for our viewers, Connecticut Latino News has been a partner of the Connecticut Small Business Boost Fund, so one of the programs you oversee, and it was launched in June with the hopes of specifically supporting organizations in underserved communities. I've read a little bit about that. I was wondering if you could explain more on what it makes this fund unique and maybe more accessible than other programs that are out there.
Okay. The distinctiveness, if you will, about the Connecticut Boost, and each lender has a different sort of derivation, if you will, of the program. But generally speaking, what makes the Connecticut Boost program unique and distinctive, quite frankly, is two major factors. One, the interest rate. The interest rate currently on Connecticut Boost loans is 4.5%, which is tremendous relative to current interest rates. The other sort of distinctive feature of the program is that it is not a collaterally designated sort of program. And by that I mean, normally when businesses apply for loans, the first or second question that a lender will say is, "What's your collateral?"
Mm.
With the Connecticut Boost program, generally speaking, the collateral is a UCC one lien on all business assets. So we're not taking any specific collateral like a mortgage or a lien on a certain piece of equipment. The theory behind that is most of these businesses are very small and, quite frankly, may already have a lot of debt. So much of their collateral is already attached. So the objective is to make it as user friendly as possible.
Gotcha. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Could you tell us a little bit about the application process, sort of what support can interested applicants expect?
Sure. Um, and I'm going to talk a bit more about Capital for Change's version of the Connecticut Boost program. We encourage any interested business to actually call our office or email our office. And my team is charged with reaching out directly via a call, more than likely, can also be an email to get some indication as to what their needs are. So, for instance, the business may say, "We need money to expand a product line," or "We'd like to hire another employee," or the like. Um, my team will gather that information, get a sense of what type of needs they have, a bit of information about their business profile, and we will effectively coach them or direct them prior to applying to the Connecticut Boost website. Our objective is to provide some degree of counseling guidance such that they can even ask us questions before the formal application process. And we view it as being very positive and constructive.
Right. I can imagine some of these application processes can be a little intimidating. And so to have that support ahead of time, it's very considerate and it sounds a little bit different.
Yes, sorry.
No, you're good. So I was wondering, switching gears a little bit, small businesses and nonprofits across the state, they've been disproportionately impacted by COVID over these past 3 years. I was wondering how this has impacted your work. I can imagine it's one reason why we have the Boost Fund. Resources like that are especially needed right now for small businesses.
Yes. There's a tremendous need for uh, small business financing. I can say during the height of COVID, um, 2020, Capital for Change, and I was part of this process in creating an emergency grant program for businesses within the city of Hartford. Because as you are aware, during the height of COVID, many businesses were literally shut down.
Mhm.
So the need in terms of providing capital, and capital which is, quite frankly, much more um, uh, user friendly, not as high, is absolutely critical. Businesses are still recovering, quite frankly, from COVID. Nonprofits are recovering. And the problem, quite frankly, that businesses have, small community businesses, is that normally there may be a few issues associated with their business. They may not have the perfect credit score. They may, have issues in terms of liquidity and the like. The difference is at Capital for Change, we understand that. And we try to structure our programs such that uh, we have some degree of flexibility to account for that.
Mhm.
That's really our core focus, to try to get out and help the minority community, to provide some degree of fairness and equity. We want the capital to flow to communities that have not had capital um, provided to them. That's really the thrust of what we do, sort of in a nutshell.
Right. Yeah, I can't imagine running a business. There's so many different aspects to it and barriers and challenges. And so to have funds for that, I can imagine it really helps with a lot of those different barriers. Are there any other resources or reminders you'd like to share with our audience with the time remaining?
Oh yeah. Just to provide you with some indication, I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the resources sort of available or associated with my department in particular, just to provide some indication of some of the types of things that we do. We provide a rehabilitation program for a targeted community in New Haven that had where the homeowners have had structural damage due to subsidence, which is a sinking of the foundation or the home. We are also a HUD and CHAFA, Connecticut Housing Finance Authority certified housing counseling agency, which means that we also provide foreclosure counseling, pre-purchase counseling, landlord education workshops, and the like. We are also, and I'll be very quick, we also operate the My Home CT program, which provides funding for homeowners that have delinquencies on their mortgage. This assistance can be as much as $50,000. We also provide underwriting services for brownfields. A brownfield a loan is, quite frankly, a property that has been contaminated. So
Mhm.
we also work with a variety of the COGS, Council of Governments throughout the state. We provide traditional nonprofit lending, and that would be sort of for larger loans up to 500,000. So we do a lot, and we also participated on the Unite CT program,
Mm.
whereby we were helping homeowners. We were one of the partners there. So we do an awful lot. And again, with the emphasis on helping uh, our impacted communities.
Right.
So,
I appreciate that. Yeah, it sounds like a very broad range of services. You guys cover a lot. Um, I look forward to following, learning more about your work, and sharing about it as well. So thank you so much, Earl. That's all our time, unfortunately, but I appreciated you having you as our guest.
oh, thank you. My pleasure. My
Yeah,
pleasure. And we just want to get the information out.
right. Absolutely.
That's the key.
Right, because you can have these resources, but outreach is just as important as them being available.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Thank you, Earl. Everyone, please join us next time on Connecticut Opinion Plus. This is a space for our opinions where we talk about current events and questions that Latino community is curious about. Tune in next month for another episode. Follow us on Twitter at Connecticut Latino News and Instagram at Connecticut_Latino News. I'm Belen Dumont with Connecticut Latino News Opinion Plus, and I will see you all next time.